Hello everyone, welcome back to Toy Story 2, and we're going to be getting 4 Pizza Planet tokens in this level. In the opening room there's an invincible lawnmower. You can lock onto it, but you can't hurt it with your laser or anything else. What we really want in this opening room is there's an army man in these little molehills, and when we approach him, a little green arrow appears above him, and we have to stomp the molehill, and then smoke comes out of the molehill, and he appears at a different molehill. I have no idea what's going on here, but the idea is basically that we play whack-a-mole with him, and after we whack all of the molehills, he pops out of the last one that's not whacked yet, and then we can collect him. And the reason we want to collect the guy is because there are 5 army soldiers in the level, and after we collect all 5, we get a Pizza Planet token by bringing him back here to the start. Sometimes if we miss a molehill, he disappears before we get the chance to stomp it, but that's okay because he just moves on to another one. So yeah, I'm not actually sure what they were going for here, but I played the game so much that it just kind of makes sense to me now. We just have to ground stomp all the molehills until he pops out, and then we can grab him. Now there is a race against RC in this level, but we're not going to do it because we can't. We need a power-up to do it. So we're just going to ignore that race. We're going to get the other 4 tokens instead. There's a new enemy type here in the form of these blue cars. We can use a charged up shot to kill him, or we can use our melee attack, which I'm not sure if I really demonstrated yet, but we'll see it in action later. In this room we got to stomp on these car pump jack things so that way we can actually jump up on the car. There's a lot of really weird, almost real-world platforming in the game. Like, we're jumping on someone's car right now, and that's kind of cool, but also, this isn't very realistic at all. So the platforming's interesting because you're jumping on real-world objects, but not in a way that makes any sense. So this is basically a shortcut to this clothesline section. That wooden board is a shortcut, I mean. Because this clothesline section can be really tricky. You want to jump straight from the left wire all the way to the right one and then back to the far left one, but I didn't know that as a kid. Now that we have the green laser, we can blow up the blue cars with much ease. The green laser is also going to come in super handy for the boss battle when we get there. The boss battle is also at the end of the best platforming in the level, so that's kind of fun. But for now we want to keep going through holes in people's fences, which I figure they really would have patched these or maybe moved the trash can in front of them or something. Because you don't want animals wandering in your yard and drowning in your pool and stuff. I know that seems kind of morbid, but this is a really big pool in here, and a lot of animals don't know how to swim. Like cats. A cat falls into your pool and it dies, and let's start talking about the platforming again and not about dead animals. I really like this room, if you can call it a room, because you have to platform on the whole outside of it. It's a very nicely designed room, geographically, environmentally, and visually, because there's the big interesting stuff right in the center, right? But there's also all the stuff on the outside, and if you platform... Oh, that was close. If you platform all the way on the outer rim, you also get something neat. I don't know, I just like the way the game encourages exploration through its visuals. Because obviously your attention's going to be drawn first to the big pool, but then you're also going to notice all this stuff that you can jump on the outside, and that's obviously going to get you something real neat too. Here's another wooden board for another shortcut, and we're going to need this shortcut because I said in the last video that you have to trust the game when you jump on a pole, that the game knows what it's doing, but jumping on the first pole can sometimes be a problem. After you jump on the first pole, then you're fine, but actually getting on the first pole can be a problem by itself. The camera in this game isn't super good. I'm sorry if you have motion sickness, because this probably isn't so good for you. But yeah, I always have trouble jumping on this first pole here. I eventually found out the trick is to jump toward the building, and you're more likely to grab the pole that way. But if it makes any more sense that I keep missing this jump, one of the common complaints about this game that critics had is that Buzz often nearly makes jumps but misses them just barely. That's definitely the most common complaint about the game. And I can see that happening a lot for people who aren't well practiced. Also, our reward for jumping around the outer rim was that army man. It may seem like kind of a small reward, but it does get us a Pizza Planet token eventually. So if we want to get that shiny Pizza Planet token in the pool, we gotta first inflate this big rubber ducky toy. I mean, I don't know if it's really rubber, but we gotta inflate this big ducky toy. And after we inflate it, we gotta do some cool physics-based platforming. We want to jump really high and slam on the duck, which causes it to bounce back up out of the water. That's probably the coolest Pizza Planet token in the game. I was really shocked when I figured out how to do that as a kid. That was really creative, to have physics-based platforming like that. You know, you have to actually understand a little bit about water physics. But now that we're done walking through holes in people's fences, we're going to climb that really big tree in the center of Andy's neighborhood. And that's where we're going to get the last two army men, where we're going to give our coins to him, and where we're going to fight the boss at. There's a lot of stuff on that tree. This swing set seems a little too high, and so does this tire swing. Seems a little too high for kids to reach. Because we went everywhere but the tree first, we definitely had enough coins for him. So that's a plus. I did path out the levels before playing them so that way I could find a really efficient way through, because that way it'd be more fun to watch, I think. Anyway, the last army man is right over here. You can see him shooting signal flares. I think that's a really cute touch, is that the army man you want to rescue shoots signal flares. Because it adds to the... oh, I missed. Because it adds to the atmosphere, but also it makes them genuinely easier to see. We're gonna go back up there now. Okay, so this time we're gonna make the jump, and after we do that, there's a shortcut rope we can grab onto. This one. After we grab it, it'll lower all the way down to the ground. But we can climb it back up instead of platforming back up, and that way we'll be halfway up the tree again. It does take a while to get back up there, even if you do use the rope, but it's a really, really big tree. And I like how big the tree is, so I'm not sure what else they could have done to circumvent this problem. There's another really big structure we're going to climb, I think, in the next level. And they found a way to do that in the universe in a way that made sense, but a rope is the only thing that really makes sense for a tree like this. I really hope there aren't any children climbing up this high, though. Because I know there's a tree fort up here, and there's a bunch of wooden planks and stuff for kids to play on, but I don't want any kids actually climbing up here. They'll hurt themselves, they'll break their body. Anyway, here's the boss on top of the tree fort. A Zerg kite that got stuck up here. He's basically just the first boss again, or the first mini-boss. Yeah, he's the first mini-boss again, that guy that chases you around in a circle. Except this time he flies. That's really the best way to describe him. He doesn't hurt you a lot either. So even if you get hit every time he attacks, you're probably going to be fine. And now we got all the Pizza Planet tokens. That was a fun level. I really like that level. Wait, I forgot to give the army men to the Sarge. I forgot to give Sarge the army men. Let's do that real quick. I know you already saw me getting the army men, so it's a small thing, but I do want you to actually see us getting a token, too. Alright, now that we have the token, we can leave the level and fight the first real boss of the game.
To infinity and beyond!
So this is the first big boss, and it's probably my favorite. There's a lot of different ways you can tackle it, but I found one way I really like that looks really cool. After it's done flying around us and trying to bomb us, but it misses because it flies around in a circle, it'll dive straight for us. And if we time our charged up shot just right, we can cause it to spin out right before it smacks into us. That looks super cool. It's really dangerous and really fun to pull off. And you don't even have to move the whole fight this way. It's way cooler than this probably is supposed to be. But yeah, that's my favorite way to fight this boss. It doesn't take a lot of effort, it looks really awesome, and I don't know, that's about it. It's fun.
To infinity and beyond!